anything they wanted to cover? So I see some people typing. Now, remember, we have some topics for JV partners being new, would like to understand JPs better. Okay, Sarah, we can talk about that. Remember, we have those topics that we're going to cover in first quarter. We have 10 topics that we're going to cover. So tonight, we're going to just get everybody oriented. Next week, we're going to start on one of the 10 topics that we picked that would be important to us. I'm going to start with, I'll start it a little bit tonight, and we'll talk more about it next week. But cash flow, bad and good. Looking at cash flow versus return is the first topic we're going to cover next week. Okay, so the limits of that, and I'll start that actually tonight and talk about that, and we can assign some homework for you guys to work on. Okay. So I'll let you. If anybody's got any more questions, please type them in. So Sarah's asking about being, joint venture partnerships. Okay, so joint venture partnerships could be multiple different ways. You could be a joint venture, and the percentages, the breakdown of how you work out that deal really is a question of the deal itself and both of you getting involved and how you want to do that. I would say first and foremost, obviously we have to have agreements and contracts to protect both parties, or if there's multiple parties in that deal, that's going to be important to us when we're doing joint ventures. And I think that the one thing I would say in reference to joint venture, I think that, it really, what's good and what's bad. Give me 1 second here. Hi, Sam. I have a question regarding rent-to-own applications that has good credit but not enough savings. Okay, we'll come back to that. So Sierra, I'll come back to that. Wilbur, I'll come back to that. So let's talk about Sarah's question. Sarah's question about yeah, it'll be up, Jacob. It's gonna be up. Don't worry. We're just catching up. We're playing a little catch up. I got 4 meetings going on right now. I'm trying to put the meetings together so everybody can be in the same group. So yes, that will be done and updated. Okay, so let's go back to Sarah's question. Sarah's question was, talking about joint venture partners. Okay. Give me 1 second. I have a student that's trying to get in, I think. Logged in the link. There we go, wrong link. Okay, give me 1 second. Someone's trying to get into the room, okay? Give me 1 moment. Just take me a second. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. While I'm doing that, I'll talk more about joint venture. So joint venture, when we're talking about joint venture, I think you need to ask yourself, and sometimes we get the question of, where, there we go, that's why. Where, let me go. When we look at the deal itself, so how are you going to participate in the deal? What's going to be your end of it, and your expectations? And I think that one of the things you have to recognize is the person that brings you the deal, right? The person that's brought you the deal, I think, has something they're bringing to the table, right? Obviously, you could be the financer of that property. What do you think you should expect considering someone brings you the deal? What are your thoughts, folks? So, party one, this is one, okay, brings you the deal, brings deal, okay? So they bring the deal. So they brought you the deal, okay? So they presented you the deal. What do you think they deserve and you deserve? So let's go. So number one brings the deal, okay? What should number one and number two get in reference to the deal itself? And let's assume at this point that you're partners. They're looking at you, bringing you as a partner. So not just putting up the money, because if it's putting up the money, clearly it's just a straight return, an interest rate that you're charging, and there would be a registered lien on the property. And obviously we want to look at how much exposure you have, but that's more of being a lender, right? So does anybody have any questions about becoming the lender on that deal? Or can we leave that one aside for now? But if you do, that's okay. What if you're the lender? If you're the lender on the deal, right? So let's look at that for a second. Let me move this for a second. So if I'm the lender on the deal, okay? So number one, they have the property. So the property's theirs, okay? Number two, you're number two, okay? If you're the lender on the deal, we want interest and we want a lien on the property. Okay, we want a lien on the property. But you're in this case, you're literally just putting up the money, and they have the property. They're doing the investment themselves, but you're lending them money. The one thing I would say in reference to that, and I'll just bring up a new whiteboard. Give me 1 second. Is the interest on that property? So the interest that you charge. So the loan. So we got the loan, and we're discussing interest. Okay. So this is what I would say, okay? 80%, and this is just an example, but 80% and less, right, is one interest rate. Let's say the interest rate is 10%. But once you get above this 80%, the interest rate is going to get higher because the risk is higher. So think of yourself as a bank. So if you want interest, so as an example, we want 80% or less, I could charge you 10%. And you could obviously, reduce the interest as you go lower, but I think you should be able to get 10% as an investor. You want 10% or higher on that loan, okay? What if I went 90%? If I went 90%, I would want 14. If I went 95%, I would want 17. Does everybody see what's happening? Does everybody understand? As we're getting higher and higher for the loan, we're going to ask for a higher return because the exposure is greater. And what are we protecting ourselves from? What are we protecting ourselves from? We're protecting ourselves from the market change. Something happens to the market. Yeah, exactly, Dave. You're absolutely right. So the higher the risk associated with market conditions. I'm just talking about market conditions. So if the market rolls over, we're exposed. Whereas if we do the 80%, a loan, then the likelihood of the market going down 20% is much lower, extremely lower, than say it being affected by a 5% drop or a 10% drop, right, in the overall market. I'm not saying that the market can't drop. Of loan to value, Mona, loan to value, LTV. So this is LTV. Let me do that. LTV, loan to value. Okay, so loan to value 80%. Say we charge to 80% or less, we charge 10%. At 90, we charge 14. At 95, and these are just examples, obviously, but the concept is I think is clear. We need to ask for more because our concern is the market change. We vetted the deal. And in addition to that, so a couple other things we should say about that. So let's go back to whiteboard. So not only do we move our interest rate as the amount of risk goes up, but also so the vetting of the deal. So vetting the deal. Okay. Okay. So a couple ways you can go with the vetting of the deal. Okay, so now that we were establishing, obviously, higher loan to value we're going to ask for a higher return. Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? Everybody understands that? That's clear? Okay, so when we're vetting the deal, what we can do in the vetting of the deal, right, or how we vet the deal, is we want to vet the deal ourselves. We really do want to vet the deal ourselves. So there's a cost for vetting. Okay. Now to vet the deal, cost for vetting. Now let's say, this is just an example, we say, look, I'm going to charge you $2,500, this is just an example, to vet the deal. Okay? You got a good deal, looks like a good deal, but I'm going to vet the deal and I'm going to charge you $2,500. This is non-refundable. You're not getting this $2,500 back. Okay? This is the cost for me to vet the deal. Does everybody understand? Everybody gets that, right? We're charging $2,500 to vet the deal. Why? Well, we're going to send in an appraiser. We're going to send in an inspector. There's going to be legal cost, whatever it is. $2,500, that's the cost for us to do what we got to do on our end. So $2,500. But what I can do for you, and this is something you can do, what I can do for you is this $2,500, if the deal goes through, if and when the deal goes through, I'll credit you that $2,500. Does everybody understand that? So I'm going to charge you 20, but if the deal doesn't go through, you lose the 2,500 bucks. If what you're showing me is not accurate, I keep the $2,500. Okay? And I'm just making up that number. It really matters the type of deal it is and what it costs to vet it. But the cost of vetting has to go to the one that wants the loan. The cost of the vetting. So you're going to vet the deal. You're going to vet the deal. The cost of the vetting has to come from somewhere, right? Because you got to vet your own deals. You got to vet the deal. You got to vet the deal. Okay. Now, you can credit that back, or you can say that's just a fee that I charge. Period. That's not part of the deal at all. You could do that. It's totally up to you. But there is a cost for you vetting, and you should make sure you vet your own deals. Okay. You make sure you vet your own deals. Any questions about that? Okay, so if I go, the other component is, so I have vetting the deal, I have the interest rate fluctuation, and I also have points that I'm going to charge on the whole loan. And let's say the points are, let's see, one second. Vetting the deal is like on a wholesale, but you stay in the deal after. Vetting the deal is like, vetting is verifying, it's basically just verifying the deal, making sure the deal is accurate. So let's say that somebody says I have a deal and this is what it's worth, this is what it cash flows, this is the money I need. What you're doing is you're vetting the deal to ensure that the deal is actually what they say it is, right? That the deal is accurate, the income statement's accurate, what they say they're going to make, you know, the repairs they're going to use, whatever it is, that all needs to be vetted. You're going to send out or verify that with an appraiser, with an inspector, all that stuff. Unless they provide that information for you and you accept it, there's going to be costs associated with you checking out the deal. So the cost of that needs to be, someone needs to pay for that cost. That's a cost that they're going to look, you're going to charge them with the option of giving it back. You can give that money back, you know, for the overall cost of the deal. That's totally up to you. But when you do commercial deals, if you're doing a commercial deal and you're going to a mortgage broker to you know, get a commercial loan, there'll be times for sure where they're gonna charge you a fee for running that loan, to run that commercial deal, right? To find the lender and do all it, because all commercial deals are not going to go through, and the work involved for that commercial deal, you know, for the lender and really for the mortgage broker, because the mortgage broker only gets paid if they get the loan, right? So the cost of that needs to be, you know, somebody needs to bear that. It's like doing an appraisal. When you do an appraisal for residential property, the lender will take that cost on to vet the deal themselves, to verify the deal. But when you get into commercial, they're going to want you to pay for the appraisal. Does everybody understand that? Good. Okay. So so we've dealt with vetting of the deal, and there's a cost associated, whatever that costs. And remember, I just created the $2,500 number. Really depends on the deal itself. Okay. We've talked about increasing the interest rate based on risk. So 10% is kind of the bottom we want for interest, whether it's 30% loan, 40% loan, 50% loan, up to 80%. Once we reach 80%, we're going to see an escalation of interest that we're going to charge them to to take on the loan, okay? Because we're now into areas where the market could affect our risk, right? The market rolls over, okay? So now we're talking about points. Points are a fee charged up front, similar to, you could say, the vetting process, or that could be part of the vet, a cost up front. But the vetting should be separated, I think. The vetting cost and the vetting verifying of the deal needs to be separated from points, okay? You don't have to. These are just different areas of the loan itself, okay? So does that answer everybody's questions, the ones that you've asked, right? Alberto, you're good? Stacy, you're good? You guys are good? Your questions answered? Okay, good. All right. So Sarah, I see you type it in. Is there any questions that you have? It looks like you're ready to type and then you stop. Is there a question? I'll let you type, okay, as we're doing this. But please, if you have questions, ask. Okay, so points, when we talk about points, this is a cost, an upfront cost, regardless of the loan itself. Let me give you an example. So you could say to somebody, I'm going to charge 3 points on this loan. And let's say that the loan is $100K. So they're going to be charged $3,000 no matter what. What do we mean by no matter what? So this is them getting the loan. Commercial fee 1.5%. Is this normal? What do you mean in reference to that, Sarah? Is someone telling you they want to charge you 1.5%? Is that right? Sarah, is that what? Okay. In reference to what part of the deal, Sarah? Them just trying to get you the loan? Are they asking that for upfront fee? But upfront, Sarah? No, they're saying after the loan. Once approved. Yeah, that could be any number actually, Sarah. And again, for us though, Sarah, 1.5 doesn't sound ridiculous to me if the loan is accepted. 1.5% fee, okay? But that being said, Sarah, that would be part of the cost of the loan for us, right? And I would assume that it's really a question of the lenders that they're going to. But at the end of the day, Sarah, we'd have to run the numbers on that to see the effect of that cost of 1.5% as part of the cost of the purchase of the property. Do you see what I mean? Okay, good. Yeah, excellent, good. After the cost, and I would be more open, Sarah, to paying a fee after it's accepted than before. If it's after, I mean, that's great. We know exactly what the number is going to be, and we can work that in their numbers. The before part is where it gets a little bit dicey because, if it's a before fee, it doesn't guarantee that we're going to get the loan. Okay, that's the one fee we would have to look at more closely. Okay, so going back to this type of loan where we're doing, and these are just examples, and these are, they can move around, and I want you to understand that. Really, it's up to you how you want to structure this. Ultimately, all of this would be in a contract. All of this would be in a contract and vetted by your lawyer. This has to be vetted by your lawyer. But can be extremely profitable. When you do these loans, they're extremely profitable, and they obviously need to be secured with property. So when we're looking at points are a charge regardless. So once the loan is approved, similar to what you're talking about, Sarah, the 1.5% fee. So this person's charging you points for the loan. So once the loan comes in, this would be exactly like what we're talking about, the 1.5% that you're talking about, same concept, right? 1.5% to get once the loan's approved. Once the loan's approved with us as the individual investor, we're going to charge somebody a flat fee. So we charge 3%, $3,000 because it's going to be on 100K. That could be it could be more or less the value, but really 3% of the loan, that's going to equal $3,000. What does that mean? It means if you kept this loan for 1 month or 12 months, I'm still going to charge you $3,000 plus interest. Does everybody see that? Plus interest, right? Plus interest. So I'm going to charge you 3% plus interest. And the reason that is the case is the why we charge points is because someone could take, say, a loan. Let's go back here. So someone could take a loan. Oops. Just bringing up another whiteboard. So someone could take a loan. Here we go. Okay. So someone could say, hey, I'd like a loan for 100K. And we say, okay, we're going to charge you 12%. And we're going to give you, so 12% for the 100K. And that's 12% a year. And they expect, let's just expect that they think the loan's going to last a year. Okay. Now, and we're going to charge you, 3 points. Okay, 3%. So 12%, these are the points. This is the interest rate. What does that mean for us? Well, if they held it for the whole year and say interest only for the sake of the math, we would make 12K for this, and we'd make 3,000 for this. Okay? And that's going to give us 15,000. Okay? Which ultimately would be 15% on the whole loan. Okay? So why do we need to charge points? Why is it a good idea to charge points? Well, what if we take this same example? So we're back to 100K, and we made the agreement. 12%, 3 points. Okay, let's say they only kept the loan for 6 months. So if they only keep the loan for 6 months, so 6 months, now we're not making 15K anymore. We're making off the loan, right? Because off that 100,000, we're going to make 6K. And off the points, we're going to make 3K. And that's going to give us 9K. Exactly, Sarah. Yeah. Does everybody see that? The reason the points are there is because you really have the flexibility with that lender, typically. There's going to be no penalty to pay it up early, unless it's in the agreement or contract. The 3 points ensures a set interest rate, that you're going to be charged, or the lender's going to make, no matter how quickly you pay back that loan. So for a lender, think about that. For a lender, is it better for them to have these loans run longer or shorter? What's better? Think about that. Is it better for the lender to let the loan run longer or shorter? Okay, we got longer. Anybody else? Longer? Anybody else? Some of you, if you don't know, that's okay. Longer? Okay, somebody switched to shorter. Shorter. Sarah says shorter. More opportunity for points. I think shorter. Well, yep. Yeah. So we want it to be shorter. And let me explain why. You want it to be shorter. Let me explain why. Because let's imagine a $100,000 loan at 12%. Let's do it this way. And 3 points. Now that we understand what those are. Okay. Let's assume this loan lasts 1 month. 1 month. Okay, only lasts 1 month. What would we make off the interest? Well, off the interest, I'd make 1K because it's 1% per month. Okay, 1% per month is 1,000. I'm guaranteed the 3K. That gives me 4K. I made 4K in 30 days. Right? Now, 4K in 30 days, if I multiply that by 12 months a year, how much would that give me? 48K, which is what? 48%. Versus if I just gave them the loan, let them run the whole year, what's my maximum? My maximum that I can get if they run the whole year. Well, if they run this the whole year, my maximum is 15K, which is this. So which is better? 48K or 15K? Yeah, exactly. So the points protect you to ensure that you're going to get at least, in this case, at least 4%. You're going to get this 4% at least, okay? Because if they pay back the loan in 30 days, you'd only have the 3% plus the 1%, which you're okay with. But if we don't charge those points, I could end up only making 1K. I could only end up making 1K. Now that we see the different components, we have the interest rate, the points, and the cost of the vetting of the deal. When we look at those, and we'll leave the vetting of the deal out, or the verifying of the deal, leave that out, okay? Because that cost is going to vary. If we just look at the interest points of it, if we look at variations, what could we do? Well, we could do a lot of different things, Okay, so I could say to the person who wants the loan, are there any takers for short term? Exactly. Well, let me tell you something. And Sarah, I think Sarah's being serious here. Um, Sarah, you are being serious, right? 'Cause I know that that's an interest of yours. Yeah. So Sarah's somebody who has the ability to access some capital, and she is very open. We've talked about this a little bit, her and I, about being a lender. So I want everybody to know that anybody who's interested in getting a loan, or bringing in Sarah or another party as a lender, Sarah's definitely open to that. I know there's a couple of people else on the call that are open to that, but definitely there are students of ours from this family we're talking about right here. These people that we have here and across Canada that are really interested in being lenders. Yeah. And just so we know, Sarah and Dave and everybody else, when we say short term, we're talking 1 year. 1 year or less. That's short term. 1 year or less. Okay? So that could be 3 months, that could be 6 months, but a year typically, because by a year, folks, we should be able to flip a property or refinance it to close out the loan, because we don't want to carry this loan longer than 12 months. So, and I know Dave, we talked about it too. Dave's definitely interested in getting involved in that. So this is important to, yeah, good. We are interested in short-term loans with my partner. Good, good, good. So there's lots of money out there, folks. It's just a question of putting the right deals together and ensuring that we're all protected in it. And again, anybody who participates in being a lender or receiving the money, you need to consult a lawyer. You need to make sure that you're both protected and the agreement is good for both parties. And even the lender needs to make sure, and this is important, as a lender, you should make sure that the person you're giving the money to is going to make money too. Okay? You should be concerned if you run a deal and you don't see how they can make money. That's not a good loan, in my view, to give, right? You want to make sure that the person can actually make money in the deal too, okay? And you should be able to see that. I think that's important to understand the benefit to the one who's receiving the funds. Does everybody understand that? It's very important. You don't want, in my view, I wouldn't give the loan. I wouldn't give the loan unless I knew the other person was making money, because it would concern me of how they were going to pay me, or why they were even doing it in the first place. This is why it's important for you to individually vet your deals. Okay? Now, this is what we'll do at the end of this call. What we'll do, folks, at the end of this call is we'll let anybody that's interested in lending, I'm going to let you put up, don't do it now, please. I'm going to let you put up your email address, okay? I'm going to let you put up your email address, and then people will know that you're a lender, okay? Is everybody good with that? We'll do it at the end. Please don't type in an address now. This is recorded. Okay, good. Good. All right, so let's look at looking for lenders. Awesome. That's great. That's great. Okay, good. So a couple things before well, we'll do it at the end, but we were talking about the times for next week. But let's look at this lending. Let's look at a couple things I want to show you here for lending. So let's pretend somebody wants a loan, and you say, okay, couple variations. So forget the vetting of the property is going to be a reference to what it costs you to vet the deal, to make sure the deal is real, right? To get an appraisal, whatever, or whatever they combine with whatever they provide for you. If you accept it, that's great. But the cost is going to be taken on by the person asking for the loan. Now let's focus on points and interest. So we're going to look at 1 year loan, 1 year loan, okay? 1 year loan. Okay, 1 year, and let's look at 100K. Okay? This is an example. We could say, tell you what, I'll charge you 3 points and 12, or 5 points and 10. You see that? Right? 5 points, 10. Now, do you see these things? Both of these. What are they going to be at the end of the year? What are they going to be? 15 and 15. Right? They're both going to be 15. Now, if I'm the one that's getting the loan, I'd look at that. I'd say, well, they're both 15. So what would be the benefit for me to take the 5 or the 3? Which one's better for me? Well, if I feel like the loan's going to be shorter, then I'm going to take the 3 and 12. Right? If I think the loan is going to run the full year, it doesn't really matter which one I get. Does everybody see that? But if they presented that to me, I'd say, well, I'll take the 3 and 12 because I think the loan's only going to last me 3 months. Whereas if I do the other one, it's going to be a little bit different, right? I'm going to pay a little bit more. If it's shorter, 15. If it's shorter, 15%. You mean, which one? Really what you're going to see is this. Here, let me simplify this. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one for a second to make it simpler. Okay? Let's do this. 5 points, and let's go 5 and 8. How's that? 5 and 8 equals 13. That's simpler to see. 5 and 8, 13. Okay, so 3 and 12, 5 and 8. Okay, I can charge you 5 and 8. Okay, now what's the advantage for you and what's the advantage for the lender? Because both these are good for the lender and they're good for you too, right? Now, if I think the loan's going to go the full year, I'm going to take 5 and 8, right? If I think the loan is going to be shorter, I'm going to take the 3 and 12. Does everybody see that? It's easier to see when they're different, yeah. But the lender is getting a benefit too, right? So if they're saying, I'll charge you a lower rate if you give me more points up front. Everybody see that? So what you would do as an investor is you'd say, my estimate is 6 months. So how much will it cost me for option 1 for 6 months? What will it cost me for option 2 in 6 months? And which one's better? You know? If I think it's 8 months or 12 months, whatever it is, I would just do the calculation and work it out that way. But it's pretty easy to see 1 to 9K, 2, 10, 9 and 9. That's for 6, yes? 6 months. That's what you guys just calculated, right? Julian, Sarah? Good. Okay. So calculate. Now I want you to calculate 1 month. What would 1 month be? So everybody see how they got 9 and 9 over 6 months, right? So 6 months is the break-even point for both deals. So we got 4 and 5.66 if it's 1 month, right? 4 being the 3% and 12 versus the 5 and 8. Yep. Good. What about 9 months? Give me 9 months. What's 9 months look like? So we know 6 months, they both are the same. We know 1 month or a shorter amount of time, it's going to be better for the 3% and 12. We know that. But if we go to 9 months, what is it? One and 12 and 2 and 12.5. 12.5 and 11. Here, let's do it this way. I'll do it this way. Hold on. We'll do this together because I think we're gonna lose some people here. Here we go. Let's do it together, okay? So we have 3, 3, and what do we have? 3 and 12. Is that what we had? 3 and 12, 5 and 8, right? Is that what we had? Okay. So let's look at, yeah, okay, good. So let's look at 6 months. I should have brought that down. Hold on one sec. Let's do it this way. Okay. So this is going to be, we're going to work out months, okay? So we have a 3 and 12 and a 5 and 8. This is going to be, let's go 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, okay? So what's going to be for each one of them? Go ahead. So 3 months, give me 3 months. So 3 months is going to be 3 months because I'm going to pay 1% a month. This one's going to be 6. Okay, that's going to be 6. What is this one going to be? So 8, to make it simpler for you, 8 is going to give you, if you divide 8 by 12, let's do it that way. To make it simpler, 8 divided by 12 equals 0.666. So this one's going to produce per month, the other one's easy, 6.6% per month. 0.66% per month, okay? The other one's going to produce 1% a month. Does everybody see that? So this one's going to be, sorry, what's this one going to be, Julian? For the 5 and 8, it's going to be 7, is that what you're saying? Or 6? So times 3 plus 5 equals 7. It's going to be 7. Okay? Everybody see that? Yep, 7 for 3 months. Everybody see that? Okay. What is it going to be for 6 months? It's going to be 9 and 9. Right? Okay, good. Now, what's it going to be for 9 months? Times 9 plus 5. This is going to be 11. And what's this one going to be? 12. Good. 12. And for 12 months, it's going to be what? 15 and 13. Does everybody see that? Does that make sense? Good. So as the lender, you can create different options for those interest rates, different options for those interest rates depending on the points, right? Do you think it's a short-term or long-term loan? You give the person who wants to get the money different options. You say, I can charge you 3 or 12 or 5 or 8, you know? And for you, you lean towards points. Lean towards points because that's money up front. It's locked in, okay? Another thing that does anybody have any questions about this? Everybody's good? Okay, the other thing I can do is this. I can go, okay, how about 3 and 12, okay? And that's going to be principal and interest. Or I can go 4 and 12, interest only. Or I can go 5 and 12, 0 payments until end of loan. Everybody see that? Does everybody see that? Makes sense, right? 3 and 12, principal and interest. 4 and 12, interest only. 5 and 12, paid all at the end of the loan. Does that make sense? There's so many ways you can do this. As long as you're not, obviously you can't break any federal or provincial laws, right? Or municipal laws. You're not doing any of that. Lending it's person to person, right? You can create any deal you want. I believe in Canada the maximum you can charge for interest is 60 legally. So you have to check that obviously with the lawyer, but I believe it's 60 is considered the top amount that can be charged. At the end of the day, you really have a lot of flexibility between you and the lender. You could even go higher interest on the pay at the end of the month. Yeah, you could. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right, Dave. This is exactly right. It leaves more cash flow for the individual, right? The further they have to, pay, the less they have to pay per month, and 0 being the bottom option, the more money it creates for the investor. So you're justifying why you're charging more. You're justifying why you're charging more. I think that's the important part of it. That's that both parties are gaining from that. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you do a rental, you have no cash flow. You have no cash flow during the renovation, and that would be, scenario 3 would be the better situation for, I think, for both parties. And again, this is why, obviously this is why we vet the deals, right? You vet the deal to make sure you verify the numbers on the deal, you verify the profitability of the deal, because that gives you the flexibility to truly adjust your interest rate and your principal based on, what options are available. But I'll tell you, it can be extremely profitable for the lender, but an extremely huge advantage for the one taking the money, right? For the right deal, it's excellent. Like, and this is the idea to keep in mind, is everybody needs to win. You, the lender, and the person who's borrowing everybody needs to be profitable. And this allows you to build a relationship and repeat it over and over and over again. So this is the area, and the opportunities. And I'm just scratching the surface of the flexibility of what you can do with this kind of stuff, this lending. Um, any one of you could participate in that. And I'll say something else, that a great deal of lenders don't use their own money. So you can even access to money. It doesn't have to be your money. It can be access to money. And I know, what you could do. Just to give you an example. So check this out. So you have someone that's looking for a 12% return. Somebody you know. You could be the one who collects the points for putting the deal together. See that? You could collect the points. So you put the loan together. Someone else's money. You're the in-between, the person who's getting the money, and you charge them 3 and 12, but you get to keep the 3. That's the cost for you to put the deal together. See what I'm saying? Does everybody understand what I just did there? Just making sure? Okay, good. Good. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. You could absolutely do that. Now, of course, again, and I've said this several times, I'll keep saying it. You have to get legal involved on this to make sure that you're properly protected. And so if you're the borrower or the lender, it doesn't matter. You need to have lawyers involved to put these deals together for you. And well worth it, absolutely, for you to do it. For the new students, please read the RSP Secret. Great book. Yeah, it's a great book. Did you read it? Did you already read it, Dave? You already read that book? 90% done, yeah. Again, Sarah, the legal fees would be part of that vetting process, or part of the cost of that. Yeah, definitely, Sarah. The borrower, it could be either one, really, Sarah, but I would put it on the borrower. The borrower would pay legal fees. Yeah. Yeah, the borrower pays it. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be. I don't want you to think that's the law or anything like that. I mean, anybody can pay it, but I would put that on the borrower for sure. For sure. For sure. Any questions about any of that? Okay, good. Did we learn something tonight? Was this good? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So a couple things I want to talk about before we wrap up. Okay. A couple things. Number one, everybody, I want to remind everybody, next week our meeting is at 8:30 Eastern. Does everybody understand that, right? 8:30 Eastern. Okay. We have a group from New Brunswick, and we're going to start bringing in students from out east. And you got to remember, they're an hour ahead of Eastern, and that makes it challenging. So when we say 8:30 Eastern, that's 9:30 their time. Okay, so I had a meeting with them earlier today for their first meeting. No, sorry, their third meeting. I wanted to bring them in tonight, but I couldn't because of the time conflict. So I want everybody to show up at 8:30 next week, 8:30 Eastern, 8:30 Eastern. And what we'll do is we'll bring these folks in from New Brunswick, and I have another group from Edmonton joining us in the next couple weeks. For you, yes, no. So Winnipeg, yep, that's right, 7:30. For Edmonton, Calgary, that's going to put you at 6:30. We're going to use this link. And don't worry, I'm going to open up. I'm going to open up both rooms just in case someone goes to the wrong room. So we should be okay. The thing I want everybody to do is, anybody you know that's not here tonight, anybody you know, please reach out to them and let them know that we're meeting at 8:30 instead of 9:30 Eastern. Anybody you know, it would be appreciated. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be up on the YouTube site anyways. So we're good. We're good. I'm gonna get that all updated this week. Give me one second. Okay. Could you please? Okay, good, good. All right. Any questions before we wrap up, folks? I think that's good for tonight. We'll continue with financing next week. I do think though that's a great book that Dave talked about, The RSP Secret. If it's something that you're interested in, definitely, it's a great book to pick up. So, Dave, who wrote that book again? Do you have the type? Do you have the title and the title and the writer? If you can come up with that, that would be great. And let's see here, 7. Okay. All right, here we go. We need to Google it? Okay. Give me one second. Okay, so a couple things I want to say before I end it. Okay, so we're going to start at 8:30. Everybody knows that. Good. At the end of this call, I'm going to stop the recording and let anybody who wants to be a lender or interested in being a lender to put up their email. Please don't do it now. We're going to do that too, so don't leave early. I'm going to do that in the next couple minutes. What else was I going to say? Oh, I was in Edmonton, had a chance to meet some people, Sierra and Wilbert and Dave. All of us had dinner. It was a great time. I wanted to thank you guys for coming out, and I want to let everybody know that the next city that I'm going to be is Toronto, I believe, at the end of the month, but I'll confirm that next week. And anyone who would like to get together for dinner or coffee or whatever, I would love to get together with you. I told you this year I'm going to really work towards letting you know ahead of time when I come to a city so I can check up on you. I'd love it. If anybody wants to come to the class and just do if you're comfortable with it, obviously a testimonial or talk about your experience with the program, that's great too. I would love that. But no pressure. You do, whatever. At least I would love to see you guys when I come to the city. Okay, I just want to spend some time with you, make sure you're doing good, and just so I know, touching base with you, it would be something I would want to know that I can help or further assist with you guys because I want to make sure that you're successful. Yes, sir, I definitely will. When I come to Calgary, yeah, when I come to Montreal, yeah, Elizabeth, I'll let you know for sure. I know I'm coming up in both those places. I'm 99% sure both those places I'm going to be in either February or March. Both those places, Calgary and I'm pretty sure Calgary and Montreal. Not sure dates. I'll let you know. I'll confirm the date though for the end of the month. The next place I am, I will let everybody know. Okay, everybody know, and please, if you can make it, let's get together on probably the best night for us is I don't know, maybe Saturday or Friday if we work it out. If somebody can take point on that when we decide when we can do it. But I would love to spend some time with you just to make sure you guys are doing well and make sure that you're getting all the support you need. Okay, so definitely I will let you know. All right, good stuff. Yeah, looking forward to it, John, for sure, for sure. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap up the meeting. My pleasure, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. This is gonna be a great year for everybody. Great year. As soon as Ahmed, as soon as I come to Winnipeg, I'll let you know for sure, 100%. I'm gonna let you guys know my schedule week to week. I will let you know my schedule, and that way you guys can give you some lead time to do that. So next week I will confirm what the event is for the end of the month, the training that I'm doing at the end of the month. What city? Okay, what city I'll be in. Okay. All right. So let's do this. I'm going to stay with me. I'm going to. So again, right? We all know 8:30 Eastern next week. 8:30 Eastern. Please let everybody you know. That's 8:30 Eastern. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording right now. I want to thank everybody for coming and spending the time. Don't leave. I'm just going to stop the recording so we can share some email contact information. Just don't do it yet. I'll let you know. But otherwise, I want you to keep moving forward inch by inch, day by day, and make this a great year for us. Okay, 1 to 2 properties. Let's do it together. Whatever you need. Let's get what we